And his fourth speech is, the theme is how you say it. So basically that is going to be the deliverance of his word and his delivery. And his the title of his speech is Mayans. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it's going to have a bit of history. Brett, join me on stage.
Perseverance. Family-owned business for 60, whatever it was. That is perseverance. Okay. About a month ago, a few of my friends and I, we decided to take a trip out to the Yucatan. The Yucatan is that peninsula that comes out of Mexico, in the Gulf of Mexico, and usually gets associated with the vacation spot Cancun. So basically we're going to tour the Mayan culture as well as the Mayan structures. We're going to rent a car for a week, drive around from the East Coast to the West Coast. We're first going to go south to Tulum, which is below Cancun. On the beach, there's a small site there. But it's a very beautiful area, and then move on from there. So I wanted to get a better idea what I'm looking at there, because if you ever looked at the Mayan language or any of the Central American Mayan language, it's like hieroglyphics. It's very hard to understand. But one thing that's always very interesting is how similar their culture and their beliefs were compared to even modern day. So if you read the Spaniards, one of the scriptures, you notice that Spaniards were astonished how similar this stuff was. For instance, the Christians, when they baptize a baby, they dip a baby in water and they use the aspergillum, which is a rod, and a sphere on top, usually gold-plated, and they dip that in the water and they splash the baby's head. Well, the Mayans did basically the same thing. They took a serpent's tail, dipped it in the water, and splashed the baby's head. As well, the Mayans did something else. They would make a dough out of amaranth, which is basically a type of grain, and they mix it with blood. That's a form of sacrifice. And they would sit there and they share it between themselves as a ceremony, similar to Christians. The reason I'm using Christian is basically as examples because the Spaniards are Christian. And they would use bread and wine. As Jesus Christ said, bread is my body. Well, sorry. Bread is my body, the wine is my blood. And the Spaniards were astonished. Because you got to consider that, well, at least the Mayans, they had no other previous contact with anybody else, any other culture. They're isolated, except between themselves. And then you also had with the Christians, at least the Europeans, they had trade routes throughout the world. You had it with China, India, the Egyptians, the Persians, the Greeks. So you could say the Christians, a lot of their practices and beliefs, they come from the different cultures around the world. Not the Mayans, like I said, they were isolated on the Americas. As well, if you go into their sacred texts, which many of them were burned throughout Central America, there was only about 25 survived. So the one of their sacred texts is the Papavu, which basically means the book of the people, or the paper of you, I guess you could say, the book of you. And the similarities to the Bible are incredible. For instance, they say God had started the world in a very peaceful area and he created the plants and the animals, similar to the Garden of Eden. And he created man from mud. And man couldn't listen to God, so therefore he went back into the mud, similar to Adam and Eve in the original sin. And the new world had started off with a big flood, similar to the story of Noah and the sinking of Atlantis. And I thought the most interesting part is their word for water, which is spelled ATL. And if you look at the Atlantic Ocean or Atlantis, they both start with ATL, which is incredible because they had no other contact with any other culture beforehand. Like I said, they were isolated. So it's fantastic to see the different exotic cultures and how foreign they are and how different they are. But really, once you get past that surface, you see how similar we all are. Thank you.